All right, pre-show shenanigans. Massive matchup this weekend at the Coliseum. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. Guys. I'm not gonna lie. This is the first USC home game I attended this year. I'm not gonna lie, okay? And now people will be like, what the hell? You're not a real fan. You didn't show up to all USC home games. And my response is look at the average audience size, stadium capacity size of the Coliseum for just any given game. I could not tell you the last time USC has sold out the Coliseum ever. I could not tell you the last time it happened because it wasn't.
Was it not sold out for homecoming?
They claim it was sold out for Washington. They claim it's sold out for UCLA. I know that's not true. I know it's not true, but they claim it is. Regardless, though, massive matchup between Big Penix energy and Caleb Williams. I thought the Washington fans would, be hurt by like a couple Penix jokes. They
probably embraced it. Yeah.
And damn it, I respect that. I also quick shout out to the Washington tailgate. God damn. God. Wow. They showed up in numbers. Okay. I was impressed. With the Huskies. I didn't know.
I do also feel though, like whenever a team is coming to LA for an away game, there's way more people because it's kind of like a destination.
So
game.
This is that as well, but also there are so many people in LA
from Seattle, the Seattle area.
Like not just Seattle, but just out of state. Like there wasn't an NFL team here for a very long time. So many of those people are NFL team. Yourself included,
which is why I'm
it's all Ohio State. Like I'm not
pressed Vikings
or anything. Regardless, though, quick shout out to Washington. But my brother and I, we showed up a little early, but we wanted to get some early scouting recon done for Ryan Day when USC and Washington enters the Big Ten. So we got all of the scouting done, all of it done. We have all the footage, so don't worry about that, Ryan. I already sent you the Dropbox folder. But when we are looking just at the game itself, showed up a bit early, showed up an hour early, sitting in the sun side, USC on the sun side. That's a debate for a different day. But when we sat down, we were already sweating after 2 minutes, just sitting down an hour before. We're like, we got to get up, we got to go to the shade side, take a nice little walk over onto the shade side. We get up into the top deck and we're looking around and we're like, wait a second. I recognize this place. I recognize this place a little too well. Not sure where I recognize it from, but I recognize it. And then it hit me. We were in the section of the most famous, like worst stadium seat going out right now.
No, I wouldn't say it's the most famous because there's been a couple stadiums where they literally have a pillar right in front of like one seat.
Oh, I believe that's
like the worst.
I think there's a seat at Ohio State where you genuinely.
I think there is one there. I think there's one at Cubs Stadium. I think the Cubs Stadium has one.
1,000%. 1,000%. Like,
I mean, Tulane, we have one seat that you can only see from like the 5-yard line to the end zone. You can't see the rest of the 95 yards. Well, that would have been better than this seat.
So this seat,
I don't think we sell that seat, but
right end zone from the perspective of the broadcasters, you just get the end zone.
No, I'm saying the 5-yard line to the end zone. On the 5-yard line end zone, you don't see the rest of the 95 yards.
I'm saying that end zone, you don't see the 100+ yards on the other side. Did I show you my POV perspective? I took a picture.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So like you genuinely can't see anything.
For the editor, just throw it up on.
We got a fraud alert right now. We have a fraud alert. I'm not sure if you can hear right now. Those seats are frauds. They 100% frauds. And I was just trying to logically explain to myself, how do these seats even exist? And they're right next to the press boxes and the suites. So I
feel like that tends to be the issue. Is the seats are always next. The seats that are next to the press box tend to
like when the Coliseum was built in like early 1900s. They weren't intending on having that press box, so it makes sense. It was just seats all around, just a full-on bowl type dome. But I just want to say we were in those seats. I can confirm firsthand that you actually cannot see anything.
Yeah.
You literally cannot see anything. Great shade though. Great shade. You won't get sun.
The Olympic Committee is going to probably have a thing or two to say about those seats in a couple of years.
I'm not sure which events will be going on the right side, but you could probably get like long jump, triple jump.
Yeah, something like that.
Like pole vaulting. that might be over there. Like I was saying, though, I've never been to NASCAR at the Coliseum. They do that every year.
Do they actually do that?
I gotta go this year. NASCAR, I gotta go. Like I was just thinking about that environment with NASCAR. I gotta go to that. That sounds sick.
Yeah. I feel like the Coliseum, to me, the Coliseum seems like it's too small for NASCAR, but like.
Oh, I did too. I thought like when I heard that, I was like, how do they even, what? Like, they're racing around that. Like, that's not the largest like surface area track environment you could put on, but shit, I don't know. I don't know enough. I will just say though, just a quick little message. When I was walking by, we walked by Isaiah Collier and Boogie Ellis, who are like the star players on the team. They both play point guard like Bronny. And they were walking by. Nobody knew who they were at all. Nobody had a clue who they were. My brother had no idea. As I would say, a top 100 largest USC basketball fan on the planet, I recognized them immediately. And I said, both of you better than DeRozan.
You mean top 100 out of the 100 fans that they have in total, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're not USC basketball fans.
Yeah, there's just 100 of you, and you are number 100.
I'm in the top 100. Yeah, I'll say I'm 100th. I'm not willing to put myself ahead of some of the others.
No.
But when I saw them, I was like, you two are, I was like, best USC basketball of all time. I was like, you guys are going to be better than DeRozan. Like, Trojans have never had guys like you. And they were both sitting there, like, laughing a little bit. And my brother was like, better than DeRozan? And at this point, we already walked by them. They're like 3 steps behind me in hearing distance. And I was like, yeah, DeRozan's got nothing on him. Then I turned around. They didn't look back at me, but they were sitting there like nodding their heads. And I'm going to go out on record now. I will go to at least 10 USC home basketball games this year. All right? I'll hold myself to it.
Grant's going to force me into one this year.
You're going to go to Bronny's debut. You're going to come. I would actually be willing to say LeBron would skip a Laker game for Bronny's debut.
To go to Bronny's debut.
1,000%. 1,000% he'd skip a game.
Yeah,
that
he just
be
leaves
one of his rest days. That's one of his rest
load
days.
Management.
You only get 17 load management days. You have to play 65 of the 82 games. So that'll be one of his.
He'll tweak his hamstring and he'll get.
I don't even think he needs to fake an injury because it's LeBron. Like he can literally say like this is one of my 17.
No, Adam. He could be at 17 and just call up Adam Silver's like, yo, I need 6 more. Adam Silver be like, all right, LeBron, I can't stop you.
And Adam's like, can you please just post that merchandise ad then on your Instagram? And he's like, fine.
Can you talk to Disney CEO with me real quick? Like,
yeah, can you help us get this deal with ESPN going again? LeBron's like, yeah, but tomorrow. Yes, but tomorrow. Regardless, though, very interesting times going on at USC right now. We'll be diving into that fully in a second. But without further ado, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today it is episode 167. We are just waiting for more Jim Harbaugh Michigan news to come out. Alex Grinch has been fired from his position as the USC DC. Clemson is not dead. Shout out Tyler from Spartanburg. MLB free agency is in full swing. Shohei Ohtani can sign anywhere right now. CJ Stroud, top 10 quarterback in the NFL, Everett. Top 10 already?
I mean, I've already had him in my top 10 this year.
I know you have, but are we now at the point where it's unanimous? And we're just talking this season. Okay, I'm not saying.
I mean, we'll get into it some more, but like it's a season by season basis. If he's playing well enough this year, he should be a top 10 quarterback for this season.
Now I know he had the yard record, 5 touchdowns. That's not the rookie passing touchdown.
I think it's right? I think that tied it.
More than that, but
no, because it's like, I mean, the NFL touchdown record I think is 8. So it can't be much more. I'll look that up while you're breaking down some massive USC news. I mean,
yeah, okay. Starting off with college football here. Okay, actually, real quick, I just want to shout out Tyler from Spartanburg, and this is a fun theory, Everett, and I want you to enlighten me what you think here because I heard this theory and I can kind of follow along now. This past week, Dabo took a phone call from Tyler. Oh.
CJ Stroud I believe, tied the record at 5 touchdowns.
For rookies?
Yes.
Because I know Peyton Manning had like 7 tubbies his first game in Denver. So
that I think is the all-time record.
The record.
The all-time record, yeah.
Regardless, though, 5 in a game and leading a game-winning drive with 40 seconds left on the clock. All right, CJ. All right, but okay. College football. Clemson is not dead. And Dabo took this call from Tyler from Spartanburg over the week. And this is a fun little theory, Everett, that I've heard, and I kind of want to explore. There's a theory going around that Tyler from Spartanburg isn't a real person. That Tyler
is Connor Stallions.
Now more fun, but Tyler from Spartanburg, people are rumoring that he might just be like a GA at Clemson who pretended to be like an angry fan, shitting on the program. Sorry, shitting on the program, saying bad things about Dabo. Was that just a Clemson staffer and doing a way to motivate the team, pick the team up? Now, Everett, I'm not sure if you remember, 2 weeks ago, Clemson final play of the game. I forget who they were playing.
Hold on.
But they had an inside zone call, and Cade Klubnik pulled the ball. Sorry,
what team?
I forget who Clemson was playing.
What team? No, what team?
Clemson. Sorry. Dabo Swine. So, Cade, it's Klubnik. Cade Klubnik was getting ready on a 4th and goal. They had an inside zone called. Okay, it was not a read option. It was an inside zone. The quarterback was never pulling it, but he pulled it and didn't get it. And for that, Dabo called out his players, called out everyone, saying like, "What the fuck? Like, they're just not listening to us." And I thought Dabo lost the locker room. Okay, kind of saw that your quarterback being like, "Fuck this! I'm not running inside zone here." But is Clemson bought back in? Are you buying the Dabo stock? He said, if they're a stock, you better start buying. So are you buying, Everett? Are you buying?
I mean, you know,
holding or are you selling? Do you have some already?
You know my opinions on Clemson and the way that they have played. Like, you know that I'm not very high on them. I thought that they were very overrated for the entire season. Even before they lost to Duke, I thought that it was, pretty meh. Like, they were not going to be all of that. And that comes from both last year and this year. And I think that is partially to do with the coaching and partially to do with the team. But I'm definitely not buying Clemson stock.
Fair enough. Yeah, I probably wouldn't buy Clemson stock either if we're talking NAC Clemson stock. I sold all those shares.
I mean, they are 2-4 in conference right now.
Yeah. No, not impressive. I'm not trying to shout them out there.
They beat Notre Dame, yes. But they lost to NC State and Miami.
Yeah. Not an ideal look for the Clemson Tigers. But I think it's a fun theory that might have been a Clemson GA calling in, pretending to be an angry fan. Just a fun little theory to play around with. But, oh, damn it. While we're on the topic of Clemson, Oklahoma, what happened? It's been a while since I've gotten a James D. Ross breakdown, but Oklahoma, what happened? This is my problem with Oklahoma, Everett. And I know you have a history with them as well. But
not as deep, but yes.
Yes, but they are considered one of the top programs in college football. They are a historic program, a destination spot, a landing spot. And I just thought it was really cute how they reacted to beating Texas. They, posting those Texas fears Oklahoma, but Oklahoma doesn't fear Texas, stuff like that, where I was like, hey, guys, you got another rival, Stillwater. And they are very, very mad that this is going to be their last game against you and you'll be leaving the conference. So Mike Gundy getting the job done with OK State, getting the job done. I have some video of the USC staff while on the field while the Oklahoma State game was going on. And
wait. You have video of them on field?
Of them watching the Oklahoma State. It was on the Jumbotron.
Oh, not sign stealing. Okay.
Well, I already have all of that. So
okay,
that's
just making sure.
I have all the sign. This is whole separate, but I tried to find Lincoln I couldn't exactly find him, but the general USC sideline was very hyped that Oklahoma lost. Very hyped. So I just want to put that out there.
I just like look, if we look at their games, okay, Texas, they win that. Obviously, they beat UCF the next week. It's still a close game. They lose to Kansas, and then all that momentum falls into Oklahoma State, who obviously want that rivalry game. They're getting left behind, and they're a ranked team. So, I mean, like, that's kind of like the thing is you do not want to have that matchup and be ill prepared, because especially if they beat, I don't know if they beat Oklahoma State last year or not. I don't know what the deal is. I'm assuming that they did beat them last time.
Beat them bad last year.
Oh yeah, Oklahoma was not good. Like, yeah, they're bad. But like this loss also, okay, one loss kind of might be able to recover.
Caleb and Lincoln lost to Oklahoma State too. It might be 3 straight to go out. Like, let me check.
It might, like, yeah, it might be. But like, okay, we were talking after that Texas game. We're like, okay, we might be seeing these guys in a rematch to go to the playoffs. Like, that might be what we're talking about.
That's what we all thought.
And now, not only does Texas loss to Oklahoma look worse for them, but now Oklahoma is not even going to be in contention for the championship game for the Big 12.
Yeah, I'm looking up right now. Oklahoma somehow won last year. I don't know how that happened, but yeah.
Also, shout out UCF, 4-5. Yep, sounds about right.
Really?
1-5 in conference play.
Oh, come on, Malzahn. Come on, Gus. We're better than that. We ended them. Yeah, fair enough. But okay, Alex Grinch has been fired. The boogeyman's gone. Okay, USC fans, we can now start playing football. I was just looking up, some of the track record of USC defenders in the NFL. Polamalu, Brian Cushing, Clay Matthews. Like historically, USC has had killers even in the front seven. I know. It's hard to believe that USC had a run defense. I know. It is crazy to think about. But the fact Grinch even made it this long is ridiculous. Absurd.
I think that's also a very
Caleb should arguably be allowed to sue. To sue.
Yeah. Yeah, that's defamation, okay?
1,000% defamation of character. Literally.
I just think like that's an issue with Lincoln Riley that I have marginally, his coaching staff decisions and then inability to let those coaches or whatever leave or get fired. Like, I get loyalty and all these kind of things, but if a coach has perennially been one of the worst defensive coordinators in college football at any fucking level, something needs to happen. You have to make a move. And the fact that, dude, when
and your USC,
when Tajay Spears puts up 230 yards on your dome,
you would have thought
you would have thought game on a New Year's nationally televised game, you would think Lincoln Riley would be like, something's not right here. But hey, you know what, Lincoln? I appreciate you for validating Tajay even more. I appreciate that.
You would have thought giving up 49 to Cal was like, okay, guys.
That's when it would be.
You would have thought, no. We got to lose to a top 5 Washington team at home, where at the end of the game, Caleb has one mistake. Now, it was a bad mistake. He took a sack on 3rd down that he could not have taken. But after that, the game was done. There was 8 minutes left in the game, but it was over because we could not stop them. The game was done. People were exiting the stadium in droves. Like literally the second that happened. And it was just pathetic. It was just sad to see. Like, the whole stadium, everyone knew the game was done. But USC going into the Big Ten next year, gonna need to solve.
Not a good look.
It's gonna need to solve.
Not a good look.
Like, genuinely.
If you are considered, like, I would say USC was probably the biggest get that the Big Ten got. Program-wise,
Oregon's gonna be the biggest threat.
No, the Oregon's the biggest threat, but like by program and standpoint and marketing and everything, we were looking at Big Ten.
Yes,
USC was like the crown jewel of
way more
the
afraid of
realignment
Washington than USC next year.
And the USC has not beat one ranked opponent this year. They have lost every ranked matchup. They have only beaten bad teams. And those games, they put up 40 points. But anytime they played a ranked opponent, okay, 48 Notre Dame, they haven't put up more than 40 points in one game, and that was last week versus Washington. They lost to Notre Dame, they put up 20. They lost to Utah, put up 32, and they lost to Washington, put up 42.
Yeah, I mean, the Notre Dame one was so weird because, like, if you look up at the total yards of defense, a lot, like, USC only gave up like 240 yards, and that, like, Caleb was turning the ball over and giving Notre Dame short fields. That, like,
was that the game everybody was like, oh, Caleb Williams not the number one overall pick? Was it that game?
like
Which is
that
still
was
stupid,
the game.
but
That was the game though where I was sitting there. I was like, this is weird because USC is losing because the offense is playing so poorly. Like, it was so weird. Like, that game, I'm not blaming Grinch, but
either
just
way,
because one game isn't the reason he lost doesn't mean you keep him. You know, like,
if you can't win, so their next two opponents are Oregon and UCLA. All right, that's where they wrap up
in
the
Eugene.
season.
It's
In Eugene, then
we don't have
obviously
a
in LA,
shot.
they play at the Coliseum. But if you cannot win a single ranked game this year versus Oregon or UCLA, the future of the program is incredibly, incredibly spooky. And on top of that,
It
of
already
course, Lincoln
is,
Riley
but-
wants to leave. But if Lincoln Riley can't beat a single fucking ranked opponent this season, why would an NFL team want to hire him to be a head coach? Why would you do that?
There's that, but also, like, from a recruiting standpoint, I don't even know how you convince a defensive player to come. I have no idea what you tell him. I got no idea what you can
Also,
tell him.
you can argue, be like, we're having a new what's their quarterback's name that they're getting next year? Malachi Nelson. We're getting Malachi Nelson.
Actually, a little breaking news. I'm hearing that Jalen Daniels, current quarterback of Kansas, is rumored. He's out for the season. Or I don't think he's out for the season, but
he's also hurt. Like 24, right?
I'm not sure if he's that old, but he's a senior. He's older, but he sat out last week, did not travel with the team, which is very unusual for a starting quarterback to not travel with the team. And rumors going around that Lincoln and Big Ricky C came down and were like, hey, Jalen, we got you a quarterback at USC next year, buddy. Sit tight. Do not play. Keep that ACL intact. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know for sure. But, hey, Malachi might not be ready yet. They might got to go to Jalen Daniels for a year.
Or Miller Moss.
No comment, but I'm going to assume he's transferring. I don't know. I'm just going to assume he's transferring. I don't know. But
yeah, rip that episode. Missed opportunities.
Yeah, but USC were in a weird position. I'll be honest. If he didn't fire Grinch, then I would have stayed under the impression Lincoln's gone. He's going to the NFL. But at least doing this move,
I also don't think
60%.
I don't think an NFL team will want him.
I feel like they still would. I don't know.
And you and I have had very different perspectives on that. But to me, I can't see an NFL team wanting to hire him to begin with to be a head coach, because I cannot see him translating to the NFL that well when he hasn't had great success with his current situation. But also, if you've now lost 3 games, even if you make a move like to change your coordinator or something, you want to blame that. Like, you've had, technically speaking, the best player in college football on your team all season, which is not going to be much different from whatever your NFL team would be. So if you cannot have success with him in college, why would an NFL team want to hire you when you haven't had success with the best player in college football?
No, I get that. It's just, when I look at recent head coaching hires, it's like, this
past cycle was pretty. I don't think you could say from anywhere.
Yeah, NFL, it's like, it seems now
at this
point, it's like
the last we don't give a fuck kind of hire, I would say, is probably the Cardinals with Cliff or Matt Rule to the Panthers. I would actually say that was it, and that ended poorly for everybody involved.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. If there's anything I've realized following the Chargers, they're not very smart people when it comes to hiring people. Like Lincoln could get a job. I think for him though, I don't even know who to call up for DC. I can't act like I know who, but
Okay. All right. Into the NFL.
There are questions all over the place.
Into the NFL. Okay. So there's a lot of things that happened this weekend. By the way, I know tonight hasn't been played yet, but this could potentially be my best week of picks I've ever had. Unfortunate for you, but yeah.
I cannot say I was tracking too hard. I did a phenomenal job in my college football. Phenomenal job in my college picks. But regardless, that's a whole separate.
But we'll have a little Minnesota Vikings breakdown here. Obviously. Okay, go ahead. You got it.
No. I was just okay. First things first, I just want to say, what is your expectations for the rest of the season? I'll let you dive into it fully more in a second. But now as a 5-4 team, you guys are you start off 2 and
0-3.
0-3.
1-4. And then knocked off 4 straight.
So are you expecting playoffs?
I mean, I've said this before.
The Lions.
I have said this multiple times before. I'm never the fan to be like, yeah, I want us to tank and I want us to intentionally lose these games, or I'm gonna be pissed off if we win. Like, no, I'm gonna cheer for my team to win. And my expectation is, okay, if obviously it's much harder. It's a much harder road without Kirk Cousins. When you're getting these injuries, Cam Akers just tore his Achilles now, and Justin Jefferson still isn't back yet, but he will be back. So it's much more difficult when you're, especially just in general, when you don't have your quarterback one, your QB1, right? When he's out, and it's Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, obviously, top 5 quarterback in the NFL, and now we don't have him, and that's complex. But I would say, like, based on what I've seen from this team as the weeks have gone on, I would think that it's very, very possible and arguably likely that the Vikings make the playoffs. And I think that it's debatable that the Vikings could win the division this year. They are 1 game behind the Lions. We've seen Josh Dobbs play well.
Neither matchups have been played against the Lions, too, correct?
Josh Dobbs was balling out. Josh Dobbs was balling out, but Jaren Hall was balling out before he got concussed. So there are options, and obviously the Falcons are not like the best defense in the NFL, so you're not going to have everything per se, but they're not a bad defense. They're like middle of the road. And throughout the rest of the way, that kind of seems to be what the Vikings like matchups are more or less like. And in general, like the Vikings already played their hardest part of their schedule. We have the Saints coming up this next week in Minnesota, then at Denver, Chicago, Las Vegas, right? So these 4 games are not that bad. Cincinnati, not a fun game. But then Detroit, Green Bay.
And the Bengals are back. You know,
the Bengals are back.
The Bengals are the Bengals again.
We end the season with Detroit, Green Bay, Detroit. So we play Detroit twice in 3 weeks.
And you get Green Bay at home.
Yes, we don't have to play outdoors. The last kind of like outdoor game that we're going to play that could be freezing balls is going to be at Cincinnati in December.
Okay.
So, because we play Denver in 2 weeks, like it's going to be cold there, but it's not going to be like blizzard temperature kind of deal.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it's impossible. And when you win 4 games in a row without Justin Jefferson, and then that's already gaining momentum, and then you win a game the fashion we did this past week, that's called vibe picks. Now you're in vibe territory.
Now you guys have entered the zone of the vibe teams. And the Vikings are now a vibe team.
The thing that I've said before, and I'm going to say again, okay, let's look at these games. Okay, let's look at these games that the Vikings have lost. Tampa Bay, week 1, obviously they start off really slow. They lose by 3 points. Philadelphia, we lose by 6 points. Los Angeles, we lose by 4 points in a game that you guys should have lost, by the way.
Yeah,
Kansas City, we lose by 7 points. Every game we've lost has been a 1-score game this year. We've never lost by multiple scores. And it took until I think the San Francisco game for us to figure out our stuff on offense and defense, to stop fumbling, to figure out play calling and management for Kevin O'Connell, for game management, and then actually like the defense itself and the way to operate it. So now everything's clicking, and that's why we were all sad after the Packers game when we lost Kirk Cousins. We were like, everything finally is making sense now. But I think Kevin O'Connell demonstrated perfectly why he's an elite coach in the NFL this past week, because what I'm going to say, and I will get into this, specifically stated from Josh Dobbs, and I think this is incredible. But obviously, Josh Dobbs had no reps with the centers, no reps with the offense at all. Hadn't thrown the ball.
I want to dive into this.
He had not thrown the ball to a player on the team. Did not know anybody's names. All right, was just trying to review the playbook and adjust. The intention was never for him to throw a ball on Sunday. But from Josh Dobbs specifically, obviously you got coach comms in, right? You're communicating, had to coach and quarterback. Kevin O'Connell, every single play in the huddle, translated every single play call, mapped out where each player was going to run, where they were going to break, and what was on the play clock every single time.
I don't know what you guys are doing in Minnesota, but that's something different.
Every single time that they were in the huddle. And obviously that's also on Josh Dobbs' ability to recall all of that and interpret and translate it in his head. I mean, he is a rocket scientist after all, but
that is true.
Kevin O'Connell doing that shows to me how great of an offensive mind he is and how great of a head coach he is, that he's able to do this in 30 seconds or less and will a quarterback who has no connection to the offense into performing one of the best things that we've seen a quarterback do this year in a situation he was thrust into. So
ridiculous.
To me,
that shows, say it was the most impressive quarterback.
Like that to me,
and we're about to get to CJ Stroud, but I would say more impressive
to me,
considering the outside factors involved.
That to me, and what Kevin O'Connell reportedly did this weekend to help adjust, not only are you game planning now for Jaren Hall to make his first career start, and you have Josh Dobbs, right? And you have to help Jaren Hall and manage that, but to go on the flick of a switch and alter it, the whole game plan.
And he has Taylor Heineke. So there's so many problems. Okay.
To alter everything on just the will of the moment and pivot. And also, by the way, you don't have Justin Jefferson. You have zero run game because he still fucking runs Alexander Madison. But to do all of that and be able to change it and explain it in the moment and make it work so the quarterback understands it and can throw the ball and not turn the ball over, by the way. And on top of that, the Vikings had one penalty for 4 yards, the first time that's ever happened in over 50 years.
Wow.
So,
damn. That's very, so the one thing that really stuck out to me as a former lineman was Josh Dobbs going over his cadence to the lineman, because they had never even heard him say a simple blue 42, blue 40. They had never even heard that.
Reviewing what happened in this game, right? Going into and during the game. Justin Jefferson is out. Kirk Cousins is out. Cam Akers tears his Achilles in the game. You have KJ Osborne getting knocked out in the game. You have Jaren Hall, who is supposed to start getting knocked out in the game. Fuck you, Jeff Okudah. Okay? 2 times. And then you also have Christian Darrisaw.
Okay.
You have Christian Darrisaw, your star left tackle, also out. So now you're starting a back-to-back left tackle.
That's terrifying.
All of those players. So you're missing your wide receiver 3, technically 2, all right, because you only have Jordan Addison and KJ Osborne. So you're missing your wide receiver 2, your running back 2, your QB 1, your QB
and
1.
Wide receiver 1.
Well, yeah. So you're missing your wide receiver 1, wide receiver 1, quarterback 1, quarterback 2, left tackle 1, running back 2,
wide receiver 3, KJ,
and wide receiver 3. Yeah. So technically 2. So that's just crazy. Absurd. That's crazy to me. And to have Josh Dobbs learn the cadence on the go and what Kevin O'Connell did is just absolutely crazy.
Wait, Everett, how awful is Arthur Smith?
Horrendous. I tweeted this out. To me, this is the most embarrassing loss for the Falcons that I think has happened since the Super Bowl.
I'm really trying to think now. Josh Dobbs has entered the game. He does not know the playbook. There better be blitzes out the wazoo. There better be the most complex, crazy blitzes of all time.
They safetied him his first drive, and then he fumbled the next drive.
I did see at one point it was 3-5, and I was like, "Is that scoregami? Are we on scoregami watch?"
It was 10-11 at half.
Yeah, I was like, "All right, okay."
But also, just by the way, just gonna note, this is a Vikings thing now. every single time that a Vikings quarterback is pictured drinking or on video drinking a cup of Gatorade, looking at the camera, it's like LeBron when LeBron's going down like this and he's looking up. Like always, Vikings always come back and win. It doesn't matter what game it is.
All right, I'll keep
Doesn't
my
matter
eye
who the
on
quarterback is. It used to be a running thing with Kirk Cousins, but Josh Dobbs was pictured doing that, and then right after that is when he started doing his stuff.
Yeah, that's one trend. We also need to watch the teams that have a boombox before playing the 49ers. Right now, they're undefeated. So there's some things we got to keep our eye on here.
Did the bye week have a boombox? Do we know? Did the bye week?
I'm not entirely sure, but based off what Nick Bosa said post game, who did they lose to last time? I forget. Who did the
2
Niners,
weeks ago?
Yeah, like I don't remember.
Browns. I think it was Browns.
Maybe that might have been the first one. Regardless,
that
Bosa
was the first one.
Whatever. Bosa went up to someone like, you guys are gonna make the bye week real bad. Chase Young, probably a rough bye week for him. Probably a rough bye week getting used to the Niners.
One thing that I also want to state, I could say this for Thursday, but I'm gonna say this because I think it's a fun little storyline to follow. This Sunday when the Vikings play, actually I'm gonna say who they play in a second. This Sunday will be the first meaningful game the Vikings play in US Bank Stadium without Kirk Cousins as their quarterback one since the Minneapolis Miracle when the Vikings beat the Saints. The Vikings play the Saints on Sunday. Play the Saints on Sunday. So.
And I mean, shit, you know them better than me. You're living in NOLA, but I mean, them Saints.
I am so excited. I am so excited.
Kamara might have 45 targets. Is that crazy?
Ever since Kamara had 6 touchdowns on Christmas, the goal of the Vikings has been to eliminate him from the game. That game also will always piss me off because everybody's like, oh my God, Kamara had 6 touchdowns. Dude, we were starting like our third stringers on defense. Like, give me a break, okay?
Yeah, I don't want to know how many people won fantasy leagues purely off of that.
Because
I don't want to know. I don't want to know how many leagues were purely won off of that. And Amon Ra like 2 years ago.
Yeah, the last thing that I'm going to say is Minnesota is now the state with the longest championship drought in the nation. So
it's been that long since the Minneapolis Lakers won.
Twins won in. I'm just playing. I don't remember they won, but they won. They won like 30 some years ago.
We got to bring you guys back. Got to bring you guys back to.
I only care about the Vikings. I'm an LA sports fan in every other category, actually, besides the Wild. Vikings and the Wild are my 2 teams, and then Lakers and Dodgers are my other teams. But
yeah, I mean, I'm a diehard Kings fan. LA Kings, that is.
You and I with our annual Kings game.
Adrian Kempe is my guy, all right? That is my guy.
I will say I will never call me a bandwagon because maybe I'm a fan of the Dodgers and Lakers, but I deal with enough heartbreak with the Vikings and the Wild to make up for everything else, all right? I don't want to hear it.
I feel like being Dodger fans, like, you can't be a bandwagon.
People say that for the Lakers, though, because LeBron's there now. Okay, CJ. Actually, no. I forgot one last thing before we get into the Texans and CJ Stroud. Obviously, Josh McDaniels got fired last week. We didn't really touch on that much. But
can we talk about the vibes in Vegas real quick? Actually,
vibes are excellent right now. But I want to just say this: there's a story reported on how Josh McDaniels got fired. I'm going to read you that story now. Okay.
Now I've heard one rumor, which I think you're about to talk about, but go on.
Does this have to do with Mark Davis?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the story, but I'll read it for everybody listening and watching. All right, I'm going to read it in its entirety, verbatim. Okay. Apparently, the last straw was when McDaniels, who is well known around league circles as a guy who goes all out for Halloween, came dressed to the Raiders facility as Mark Davis, who is the owner, the day after they lost to the Lions on Monday Night Football. Mark Davis took it in stride at first. He was laughing and even ordered his trademark P.F. Chang's meal. That's right, Mark Davis, big P.F. Chang's guy, all right, which he delivered to Coach McDaniels to complete the look. After the two had eaten together, Davis suggested Josh McDaniels read his fortune cookie, which on the inside, the fortune read, "You're fired, hot shot." And this was reported by multiple people who had viewed the fortune cookie.
To be honest, there's just no way.
To have a fortune cookie specially made, though, like that, you would have to have it ahead of time for like weeks.
Oh, they had been eating Chinese takeout for weeks.
Just setting it up
for him to pick the right fortune cookie. If that was the case.
What if Mark Davis picked up that fortune cookie and now he's self-firing?
And he is so dedicated to the cookie.
He's like, I have to sell the team now.
That's how important a fortune cookie has ran the Las Vegas Raiders.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if a Magic 8-Ball had ran them for the last 6 years.
Oh, that's way more plausible. Actually, would probably be more beneficial.
Should I hire John Gruden as the head coach? Yes, definitely.
Oh, I was thinking maybe try again.
Maybe try again. Should Mike Mayock be our next GM? Oh, I gotta redo it. Hold on.
Thank you.
It's not giving me a concrete answer. It's
maybe they know something.
The future speaks for itself.
That's not very inspiring.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the Raiders, there's when I heard that and saw that, I was like, this cannot be real. But
and they fired the GM too, which,
well, I mean, Raiders, just real quick. Now, typically, like post-game cigars, like, usually you're not ripping that for regular season games. But McDaniels is so bad, and I know they beat what's his name, Tyler. Not Ben DiNucci, Tyler DeVito. Was that his name? The quarterback for the Giants? Was it Tommy? Is it actually Tommy DeVito, the Jersey
Tommy
boy?
DeVito.
That is so funny. But, lighting up stogies after being Tommy DeVito isn't quite the flex you think it should be. However, but just because McDaniels is so bad, it's allowed. Like they're allowed to do it.
For the Raiders, you're allowed to do it.
They're allowed. Yeah,
Sam,
like I don't care.
We're shouting out your team, buddy. All right, they're allowed. I don't care if you beat
Tommy DeVito. All right, you deserve to do it. All right, you deserve.
I like how you had the little like New York accent.
Tommy DeVito.
The Tommy.
Yeah, of course. That's how you pronounce it. Tommy DeVito. Who the hell's that? It's Tommy DeVito. But okay, on to the greatest Ohio State quarterback of all time, CJ Stroud. Coleridge, Bernard Stroud. Coldridge can't play in the cold. Bernard Stroud went out and put on a show. Now, Texans, they took down the Bucs. So I'm not going to sit here and act like the Bucs are like the craziest team in the league. I'm not going to do that. But still, for a rookie quarterback to go in, put up 470 yards, break the rookie passing record, 5 touchdowns with 1 to lead the team go ahead in the last second, and to get a scoregami.
That's the most important part.
Yeah, now he's in the history books forever. Who was the quarterback of the team that won the 39-37 scoregami?
Yeah, no matter what now, CJ Stroud is
in
a trivia night.
History.
A trivia night.
It's a trivia question. But we mean that in the best way possible.
This is not a David Johnson trivia question, right?
Yes. Very key distinction.
This is a Frank Gore trivia question.
Yes. Actually,
like a LaShady McCoy kind of question.
Okay. Yes, we'll take that one too. But what CJ did now, I don't watch as much of the NFL as you. You've already had CJ as a top 10 quarterback. We're just talking this.
I think I had him as a top 10 quarterback like week 4.
A while ago. I believe after they were 2-2. I believe so.
Yes.
Regardless,
makes sense.
What CJ is doing is unreal. It is crazy. I never actually thought this was going to happen this year. If I'm going to be completely honest, I did not think the Texans could be 500 in week 9. I didn't think that was a possibility.
I mean, I said before the season started that I thought the Texans were going to do well. If you remember, I said, I think on a couple different occasions that I thought that they were very underrated. Um, I'm trying to find my my spreadsheet for my predictions. Um, hold on, let's see what I had them at here. AFC South, I had them at 7-10. So far, I mean, they're doing better than I projected, but I wasn't super far off. I had the Titans at 8-9. I had the Jags at 11-6, Colts at 3-14. Honestly, I don't really know where I'm at record wise with half of these teams. I haven't opened this in a really long time. I think I gave up after like week 3 and the Vikings were 0-3. I'm like, they're not going 10-7.
Where do you have the Chiefs on there?
The Chiefs
13?
were 11-6.
Okay.
The Chargers were 10-7. I'm actually gonna, while you're talking about CJ, let me just do a little like checking of my
you could
stats
check, bro.
here.
I got a quick like little Texans overall discussion. Now, one thing that we were talking a lot about for that draft was them trading back up to get Will Anderson, trading their pick next year. Now, I'll be honest, Everett. I'm not sitting here watching Will Anderson tape every night. Okay, I'm not. I'll put 2 hands up for that. But did you know that Will Anderson is 4th in the NFL in pass rush win rate this season?
I did not. I had heard that he was like a great locker room guy. Like he was like he had like a high did you say pressure rate?
Yeah, 4th.
Yeah,
tied
so
for third, actually.
I had heard something like that, but I mean, yeah, I can't really say that it was a bad decision, especially now because they're doing well. So that pick's going to be like middle of the pack. So honestly, like for them, like honestly, that's better getting 2 top 2 players instead of a player maybe at like 16 this season. Because it doesn't sound like they would have Marv anyways. But
yeah, like another thing is I went into this season like, I mean, this isn't the greatest receiving core ever. And so I was kind of like, Marv, holy shit, that could just like really help out. But my God, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, shit, even a 7th-year Ohio State NFL vet, Noah Brown, was out there scoring 75-yard touchdowns. Like it do not matter who's playing receiver for CJ. It do not matter.
So
he balls out.
Right now, my most egregious overall, like my predictions for it being, I think I did this like mid-July. Overall is actually pretty good. Like I'm only off by like a couple games for some, like especially like the top like teams for like the playoffs. Like outside of like the Giants, I'm pretty on.
Jets are low-key 4-3, so like even with Rodgers,
one thing
might still be kind of
I'm going to tell
pace.
you, and I'm going to ruin your day with this.
Jets are Raiders, the Chargers.
The Raiders are above the Chargers. But
in real life,
yes, in real life,
yeah, that adds up. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
You're okay. No, but like overall, like the most egregious thing I had in here, like okay, Giants I had at 10-7, which is stupid. I actually thought Ed Donatel was not just exposing them, but Ed Donatel, did them a favor. They were not going to go 10-7. But the two like the most egregious thing I had was Panthers at 5-12. I don't think they're winning 3 games this year.
No, I know, but like, it's not like you put them 6 wins, 7. Like that's fine.
I mean, 5 is pretty close. I had the Bears going 8-9.
That one's interesting.
Yeah. Packers 5-12, like that could happen. Saints had going 10-7, Falcons 8-9, both of which are pretty much projections right now, spot on.
What do you have? Rams
5-12.
That still on tape.
So it could happen. I had the Bengals winning their division at 13-4, Ravens going 9-8, tied with the Browns.
What do you have? Ravens.
That's what I just said.
Oh shit.
Ravens going 9-8, which they're probably going to be up. I had the Bengals above them, but they're going to be up there. They'll probably switch those records. Browns going 9-8, Steelers going 8-9.
Yeah, I mean, things can happen. Things can happen. Things can shake up. Like real quick, right now, who's the worst? Panthers are worse, so Bears.
Cardinals are the worst team right now. They have the 1 pick.
Okay, never mind.
And I think the Cardinals might actually like. They'll be competitive, but like they'll be like, hey, this game's a little bit too close. It's the 4th quarter. We're like down by 3. Let's just have a 4 and out right here.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick on these games. One last
Buddha
thing
just missed that tackle on the back route over there.
One last thing I want to bring up, that end of the Cowboys-Eagles game, okay? Cowboys are driving. They're on what?
Now, I have not seen, I know kind of what you're talking about, but I have not seen this.
Oh, okay. So Cowboys, they get down to, I'm pulling up the play-by-play to get this crap, but they drive down the field at the end. The couple of Eagles fans I knew were sitting there stressed over that last drive. Dak was like actually driving. Let me pull up exactly what happened at the end here. You can have almost a live reaction in a way. Yeah, so they take a awful Dak takes a sack on first down, delay of game penalty, pass deep right to CD and fumble. Game's over. Yeah, I can't really shit on that so hard. Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys, I mean,
we still think that Mike McCarthy is in line to get fired this year.
This is the thing, like, you are the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. Your expectation, no, I don't think it is. The expectation in that franchise, that organization, is Super Bowls. And if your coach isn't doing it, you're out. And
like, to me, the Cowboys, like,
knowledge,
the issue is Jerry is always going to be, he's always going to be, as long as he learns the team, he's always going to be the GM for the team. He's never going to step down for that. So being a coach for that team, it's arguably already difficult when you can't really have as much say. Because he was just like, I mean, CD Lamb has been a great player for them, but CD was there. He was just like, all right, fuck it. CD Lamb, we're drafting a new wide receiver. So
he already had 88 ready for him. Like,
it's just kind of like however he feels. And that makes it difficult. But if I'm like the Cowboys, if I'm Jerry, like I'd much rather, like, I'm seeing the success of Kevin O'Connell, of D'Amico Ryans right now, of Sean McVay. Like, I'm seeing these young coaches on either side of the ball.
Which I expected to be first out of that list, but that's okay. McDaniel. Dolphins, McDaniel.
Yeah. I was gonna say Shane Steichen, but that works. No, but like, you're seeing the success of the coaches. I would assume that you'd be like, yeah, let me try and revolutionize. Dak Prescott's almost 32, right? Like, so you're coming to a close on where he's going to be kind of falling out of his prime.
Breaking news on Monday, the NCAA notified the Big Ten that there are 0 known connections between Ohio State coach Ryan Day nor his family and the organization's investigation into Michigan. So I'm sorry to burst your bubble, Michigan fans.
A lot of Michigan fans down bad right now.
I'm so sorry, but Ryan Day did not hire his private investigator brother to expose Michigan. Real quick, I'm sorry. We're done with college football, but I want you to hear this sentence, Everett, and tell me how you think that the highly educated Michigan men thought it was true. Ryan Day has a brother in the FBI, okay? FBI, guy's probably pretty smart about legal activities, what you're allowed to and not do. Ryan Day goes up to his brother, who's in the FBI, and says, brother, I need you to commit illegal crimes to reveal a football crime. Will you do that? And Michigan fans really thought to themselves, yes, Ryan Day's FBI brother broke the law to help find out a football cheating thing, which at the time they didn't even know was true.
Is it a big deal? Yeah. Is it that deep? No.
Yeah, it's just, also, let's say Ryan Day did hire a private investigator to research Michigan. Who cares? Michigan's still cheating.
For real. Like, I mean,
it doesn't get them off the hook easier.
Like, maybe they're trying to shift the blame and stuff, but
regardless.
Yeah, regardless. But yeah, no, CJ Stroud balled out, absolutely balled out this weekend. I would say right now, arguably top 5 quarterback on the season, right now. But I mean, he just has to keep it up. And I don't think the issue with people and ranking quarterbacks, everybody is always biased when it comes to putting up like rookie quarterbacks and that stuff in their top 10s. They're like, okay, well, CJ Stroud could be the number 2 quarterback in the NFL this year. And people would be like, all right, next year we're going to do our 32 rankings. We'll put him at like 14. It's like, the fuck are we doing? Like, no, if he plays great, if he plays well enough to be a top 5 quarterback in the league, he deserves to be ranked there. You can't have bias towards him because he's a rookie. If he's doing shit that veterans in the league have done for years and he's doing that now as a rookie, you cannot be like, hey, he's a rookie. Like, we can't do that. That's like Adrian Peterson put up, I think his rookie year, put up 296 yards on the Chargers. So, and people were like, people weren't like, oh, he's a rookie.
Fuck.
Yeah, that was almost his record-setting game. He put up 296 on the Chargers.
I'm looking up Adrian Peterson's single game. 296 on the Chargers, November 4th, 2007. That was two days ago, 16 years ago. Okay.
This week, 16 years ago.
Yeah,
perfect timing on that. Actually, I didn't realize that was like this week, but like
I understand why they call them all day. I get it now. I get it.
AP, not AD. The fucking whatever.
Yeah, all day.
I know, like that's the debate I have with Vikings fans.
I think it's AD.
I say AP.
Oh, okay.
People on Twitter who are Vikings fans, people who are like Vikings fans say AD like all day or Adrian. Like that's what I hear, and they're all like always like, if you say AP, you're wrong. I'm like, dude, like everybody I know who's a Vikings fan growing up around my age called him AP. Everybody I've always known calls it. The first time I ever heard somebody call him AD was like 2 years ago.
I have a vivid memory of like a broadcast, and I think it might have been when he was at Oklahoma, and it's like all day like AP. But it's all day.
I've always called him AP. I've just always called him AP.
You have a point there. I'm with you. It's all day AP. I remember hearing that.
Fun fact, by the way, Sam Howell is second in passing yards in the NFL.
Do not bring up how many sacks he has.
It's only fitting that that's the case at FedEx Field. Which, by the way, I just want to state this. Our favorite coach in the NFL, Arthur Smith, before he got his job in the NFL with the Redskins, by the way, in FedEx Field, he had only worked one job in football before as a grad assistant for his school. You know who his dad is, right?
Isn't he the weird company, right? Like random?
Yeah, really, really random.
I forget what it is, but
he's the founder of FedEx. You know, the company that's the sponsor of the field for the Redskins, which is the team that he got his first job at.
Wait, so why does the FedEx employee not know how to pass to air shipping? You wonder why.
He's trying to prove a point. Maybe he was like
he's
his
trying
dad.
to prove that truck line shipping is still the meta. Okay, he's trying to save
no airplanes,
the railroad industry.
But then we get into the question: why is he benching Bijan?
Yeah, no.
Is he trying to like? He's like, no, we're doing it back like the old days. Remember he
when proving that old cargo freighters can still get it done?
No. He's not even that. He's like, all right, cargo ships, nah, fuck that. Ground transportation, but not that kind of ground transportation. Not the trucks. No, we're going back to the bicycles, right? Use the fucking bicycle.
Horse carriage. We're going
all the way back. Way back.
The Oregon Trail. That's where he wants to go back to. He's really talking 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But
yeah,
I digress. I mean,
I'm gonna wrap up the episode with one wish list. The Cardinals in season wish list. Okay. Decide if you want Kyler or Caleb. Hopefully see development out of Paris Johnson. Hopefully Kyler balls out. Hope that James Conner returns soon. Stay competitive in games and keep the bus rolling.
Yeah, Arizona. There's many directions they can go here. Now they do have their first for next year. They do have that, correct? Yes, we went over that. They have the first.
Yes, Arizona has their first and the Texans first. So right now they're projected number 1 and like number 14, I think.
Yeah, I'd say essentially kind of right now, bring Kyler back in. You want him to play as best as possible. So even if you want to be good.
Like I think that team is bad enough to where even if Kyler balls out, he's not gonna like immediately give them wins.
Oh,
So
I'm not even talking about
if he
wins.
plays well, okay, either you see what you if you're Jonathan Gannon, you see what you have in him, you're like, okay, this guy could be my quarterback. Or he plays well enough and you can trade him to another team like the Raiders, like the Patriots, like I don't know who else. Really
I think Kyler Patriots, when you brought that up the other day, like at first I'm like, no. But then I imagine Kyler in the Patriots uniform, and I'm like, wait.
It's the throwback ones with like the guy on the side.
I'm like, wait, why can I see it? Like I can see it. I can see it.
So Seattle too might need a quarterback soon.
100%.
Seattle.
100% there.
Rams might be
Rams
in there.
could be in.
So I just if he plays well and you can decide, okay, either this guy could be us or we can ship him out and we still have the one pick. We might be able to get a 1 for him.
I don't think they have the cap. Wait,
I mean,
cap room doesn't exist. So
if I was, let's say Kyler does ball out. If I was the Cardinals and I had the 1 pick, I'd probably trade him away, and I would just start fresh. You have Caleb. I don't think
that's a hot take.
Hopefully, no, it's not a hot take at all. But it's the big part is hoping that he plays well enough where I can get another first round pick.
Oh yes.
So that because my stuff,
we're all in on.
They're not the Texans pick's not going to be high enough for them to get Marv. But if you can get Caleb and then maybe pair him up, go get Egbuka or go get Wilson
Keon
or
Coleman.
a Doomsday. Get a wide receiver in the later of the first round so that you can pair him up with Caleb. And now you have Marquise Brown, that guy, Dortch, and Rondale Moore.
People forget.
He's not a wide receiver 1, but like put that guy in the slot. They have like their speed. Their team is built to be speed. They have Rondale Moore. They have Marquise Marquise Brown. Greg Dortch, I think, is on that team. I mean, like he's not that bad. So they have players. But anyways, with that, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at WaterboyPod. Make sure to follow me and Grant on Twitter at Everett Takes and at WaterboyGrant. We post new TikToks every week, Tuesday to Sunday, unless Grant forgets. We post new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday on YouTube and all podcast platforms. You don't want to miss any of that, so make sure you turn notifications on YouTube. We post new graphics 2 times a week, unless I forget. I'm going to take the blame for that one. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Waterboys out.
Watch out. The 4th killer bee, Martavis Bryant, might be making a return to the NFL. Stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned.